Oh no, a tank! Run! Oh, thank goodness that was a tank that was used in World War I, because the tanks in World War I were very poor in quality and they were not good vehicles. Now, even though the tanks failed in World War I, that did not stop the researchers from developing. They continued to develop the tanks because they saw potential, and they developed them for World War II and even our world today. The tanks are a very key quality in our military in World War II and today. Now, the tanks in World War I were very poor, like I said previously. They had terrible motors. They had little horsepower. They were not fast. They were heavy, about 30 tons, and they often took up to 4 people to operate the tank itself. And they had a lot of malfunctions too. They often overheated, and from malfunctions in the tank often killed or injured people, the crew operating the tanks. And that left little room for the people to operate the cannons that were placed on top, and the people on the sides that were managing the guns. And a tank from World War I might look something like this. Now, like I said previously, just because the tanks failed in World War I, that did not stop them from developing tanks for World War II. The researchers saw potential from World War I, and a tank from World War II might look something like this. Alright, now, the tanks in World War II were much more efficient, the motors were. It was a lot lighter, so it could go faster. They used different metals for the hull. And another thing is, it only needed one person to drive it, which led more room for the other people to operate the guns and do whatever they may need to do on the tank. Now, in World War II, they also developed better guns, better cannons for the tank. They were more efficient, the guns didn't jam as easily, and the cannon was more accurate, so it could fire and hit the target they wanted to. Now, the tank in World War II was a leader. Now, what I mean by a leader is troops often followed the tank behind it, and the tank just plowed through whatever it needed to do. It made paths for them. And there were also a much bigger variety of tanks in World War II. There were many different types they made, and that was a great thing. They had lighter ones that were faster. They also had bigger ones that were heavier, and those were the leaders, like I was saying. Also, the tanks, when they were developed, were first developed by the British in World War I, like I said. But that caused major controversy. It caused some controversy in the world. People didn't know if it was fair. Sorry. People didn't know if it was fair. Some people thought it was like immoral to do this, to make this kind of weapon. It also led to a lot more death in the wars, mainly World War II, because the ones in World War I were terrible. It caused many deaths, which led to even more controversy, whether they should allow it or not. Now, like I said, the tanks, even though they failed in World War I, were a key weapon in military use in World War II and today.